All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the OS Talk. This is quite a big one. This is our 1-year anniversary. We're actually joined with Deadbeat and Charles for this great event. How are you guys doing?
Really cold.
Yay. I don't know.
Oh, you're really cold, and he doesn't know. But anyways, guys, this is going to be an AMA. We've done one of these before. We do have questions from the community that we have set here. I'm also going to take this time to let you know if you have questions that you still want asked about the OS Talk and you didn't make it to the interview, if your questions are acceptable in the YouTube comments, I'll try to answer those as well. So we're going to try to cover all bases with this one, guys. All right, so we'll move on to our first question here. It actually comes from Smoothie World. And Deadbeat or Charles, if either of you guys get questions, just go ahead and speak up after mine's done, or vice versa. We'll see how we keep this thing moving. If not, we'll just banter to each other.
Like I'm going to get asked questions.
Oh, you most definitely will get asked at least a few questions. The first one comes from Smoothie World, and they ask, are there plans to have another sped up mapping video like the thing you did with your map? And I'm sure other mappers would be interested in a time lapse of how some higher difficulty maps are produced. It was really interesting to watch the previous one. Well, Smoothie, I'd like to answer that with, I would love to do that. I'm pretty sure I can make another time lapse of something I make, but my main goal was actually to try to find other mappers. And it's a lot harder to find someone that's okay with, like speed mapping an entire difficulty set, even if it's not an entire difficulty set. I've asked people for Insanes and stuff, and they say, well, I can't map that in an hour, or I can't map that in 2 hours, because I think the most you could squish down without it, like the most content you could squish down and make it still like visible and understand what's going on, is like about 2 hours of content you could time lapse and actually have it moving at a point where you know what's going on, versus like speeding so quick you can't make sense of anything.
I'm thinking, like, if I were to do one, which I might, you'd have to pick song that's literally only a minute long, because usually I take a while, but I would love to do one, but again, it would have to be, I guess the word would be half-assed.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, Sound of My Dreams was pretty much half-assed at first. It didn't get all of its shining and sparkle and polish till after the fact the video was made. Like, a lot of stuff's been actually changed to each difficulty. The overarching set is still there, like the basic concept, but it's definitely changed quite a bit. In terms of like, I wanted to get you. I've also asked Loctav, Mittens, a few other people like for Tycho and stuff, and I know Tycho might seem boring, but there's still people that would like to watch how that's played out, just for the ability to see how it's done.
It would always be quite interesting to see how other people map different game modes, even if you don't necessarily play them yourself.
And I would totally say like a minute 30 or something, is like I used a minute 30 song. I wouldn't expect anybody else to go over a minute 30 song, and that's where the problem I've been running into. I ask people if they're willing to make content for it. They're like, yes. And one guy did come to me, but he had it was a lossless file, and it was like 5.5 hours long, and it was like 40 or 50 gigs. Like, it would have took forever to like reprocess it down. I told him I appreciate the effort, but there's literally no way I can use that. You know what I mean?
It's like, how did you manage to upload this?
Exactly.
Good lord.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. All right. Anyways, it looks like I have some more questions. Do any of you guys have any questions yet?
I wanted to know why it was cold in Deadbeat's room. How does that even happen? Oh, it's summer though. It's like
it's not. It's winter.
Isn't it Australia?
Welcome to the other side of the world, Charles.
Yeah, just because it's summer where you guys are, doesn't mean it's not freezing over here.
I wish I was there. Trust me, because it's only about to get
axial tilts going on. What's up?
The longer this talk goes on, the more I'm going to cook.
Okay.
That's true story, because my air conditioner had to go off, and it's like 110, and I do live in a trailer, guys, so it's like a tin can. It's like a tin tuna can on wheels, and it's not the greatest. But thank you so much for that question, Smoothie World, as we'll move on to our next one. This one comes from Dearmer. That's how I'm going to say it.
Dreimer.
Dreimer. Yeah, there we go. What would you think about an isometric grid being added to the editor? Would it be used as much to be worth implementation? Because I would love one. And then a little cry
Whoa.
face. This is actually something that Charles would probably be able to give you a little bit more insight on. I'm fine with just grids. I don't think an isometric
Whoa.
grid needs to be added, but Charles could probably give you a little bit of a...
Well, that one's really difficult because the thing with an isometric grid is that usually that creates a bunch of, like, I would go as far as say just tons and tons of opportunities for triangles. So now while that does fit the current meta of the game, heyo, it probably wouldn't be practical to actually get the spacing any good. I mean, even though it's technically just a rotated square grid, it would probably be very difficult to work with. I would say instead of like having a different grid, just reference lines that show up more often would probably be a lot easier.
Well, there is that way to get the... When you turn off grid snap, and I think you hold, what is it, Alt?
Yeah, but they only snap to like 45 degrees, and it's like, if you're mapping like that, you need to be careful.
It should be, like, there should definitely be like a thing where you could adjust the angle that it'll snap at. That would be neat.
Yeah, I think if you could change the, like, I guess the different dimensions of the grid, then it would definitely be worth it. But other than that, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be something neat to see, but I just don't know exactly how crazy or how much it would be used. I don't even see the 45 degree lock being used that much.
After a certain point, you start mapping pixel by pixel anyway, so the grid just starts kind of being a reference.
Pretty much. Alright, well, thank you so much for that question, as we'll move on to our next one. This next one actually comes from Beat Breakers S. And, they asked, how did you get the idea to start the OS Talk? And then there's a few other ones. So I'll start off with the first question. Well...
Didn't we go over that in your interview already?
Yeah, kinda, but it was more or less, the talk was basically kind of set up for, like, I wanted to do something with news. I wanted something where people could come together and talk about different topics and get different viewpoints and opinions on things. And I didn't really get a chance to do anything with it, but once the Academy kind of took off, I was able to kind of say, hey, this is a good idea, we should give it a try, and then we gave it a try, and the first episode was meh, but it was okay, and people were like, I could do with a couple other ones, and it just kept going and kept going and kept going, and now a year down the later, we've got like over 30 episodes. So, yeah, it's been a little bit crazy there on that. And then the next part of that question was, what was your weird, most awkward OS Talk to date? And
oh, jeez.
I think that we could definitely answer this one as a group. I would have to say the most awkward one for me was probably the Peppy interview, because I was tripping balls pretty much. I was nervous.
Everybody was tripping balls in there.
Yeah, I was so nervous.
Nobody saw anything coming.
No, and then he threw down Ragnarok Online, and I was okay. After that moment,
you were like, okay, I'm set.
Common ground.
You were like, yeah.
We've got this.
I remember, in that episode, I started off, and I started casual, and I'm like, oh, look, I could just hear you, like, kind of, like, nervous. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna try and break the ice for Z-Trot. But then I got thrown off. I got completely thrown off when we asked the Uppy question.
Yeah, and he's like, is that
God,
still up?
I wasn't ready for that. Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
it might have been the Peppy one just because of how absurd it went.
Yeah, it was.
Other than that, I would say a tie between Wubblewolf and Cyclone.
Yeah. What about
both
you,
for
Deadbeat?
different reasons.
What's the most awkward talk you've been on? Trying to think. He's like, a lot of them are actually pretty awkward, so it's kind of hard to decide which one to pick.
I'm an awkward individual. How am I supposed to hone down on one?
It was one of them, that's for sure.
Oh man, you guys broke Deadbeat.
Deadbeat, ladies and gentlemen.
It seems to be happening a lot lately.
Oh man.
Like, I remember looking at the list of them, I'm just like, oh yeah.
All right, well, maybe you'll be able to give a little bit of input on the last part of this question from Beat Breakers. They say, which OS talk did you guys enjoy the most? And I would have to say, go ahead, Deadbeat. I want to hear this.
I actually want to say Luna's. Luna's went really well.
Ah, so you like Luna's. I didn't mind
Well, I mean,
Luna's.
when you look at it, when you look back at it, we did no Q&A, we did nothing at all. It was just the three of us in the room, and it went really smoothly. Like there were barely any breaks or anything at all.
Of course it went smoothly. There was three of us. It was probably the most concurrent talk we've ever had.
Which one of those did I show up for? Did I show up for the Luna?
I don't think so, because we were in Mumble for that one.
Yeah, we were in Mumble for that one.
Oh, okay, well, we'll check later. Anyway, the most fun? I think definitely one of the earlier ones. I think Daru's was awfully fun.
Daru's was pretty fun. I've got to play the Cyclone card here because I really enjoyed having my talk time with Cyclone. That literally probably could have been we didn't even need to call that one an OS talk. It could have just been OS chat with Z-Trot and Cyclone. What did we do? Like a 25-minute tangent on Phantasy Star Online? That was ridiculous.
No, that one turned into an OS rant, and that's where it got awkward for me because I'm like, I don't even know if we can air this.
Okay, just quickly, I think Charles was actually there for the Luna interview.
Oh, alright.
Okay.
Well, he's in the description as a guest, so...
Yeah, I probably showed up like halfway through.
But yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the Cyclone one myself.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. Alright, thank you so much for that question, Beatbreakers S. Really appreciate it. We'll be moving on to the next question that comes from Optichol, I guess? And they ask, is there much interest in other game modes compared to Standard? And I'd have to say yes. At least from my perspective, I have a lot of interest in CTB, mainly for the character design. I like the game mode too. It's quite fun. I'm terrible at it, but it doesn't change the fact that it's fun. I also have quite a bit of interest in Mania. Taiko, I've mapped a couple Taiko songs, didn't do too well at it, so I've kind of just stayed away from it. We already have a lot of really good Taiko mappers, and it just seems like something that they can handle. So, I mean, there's interest in other game modes from me, but mostly Standard, CTB, and Mania.
I think there's a lot of attention towards Mania as a game mode. Like, I think aside from Standard, that probably gets some of the most attention.
It's one of the fastest growing communities we've seen, yeah.
Well, yeah, because the thing with Mania is that it's got people who've had like over a decade of experience in playing it, and all of the places that they've usually been to start, I guess, drying up over time. And to suddenly have an outlet that, you know, supports custom content and a decent enough game engine, people are going to show up because it's like, okay, here's a hub that we can hang out at again. Because you got the ones that still exist, like Step Mania for 4-key, and Lunatic Rave 2 internet ranking for 8-key, but 7-key is kind of in the dust. And that's where OS Mania comes in.
Let's see. Well, thank you for that question, Optical. We're going to go ahead and move over to our next question. This one is for Deadbeat Alone. It comes from Master Neutral. They ask, what's the story behind the Dadbeat nickname?
I thought this would get asked at least some point during one of these. Back when the post-gen real life thread was still around, this must have been a good 2 years ago I posted this, but I went down to Blenheim to visit some family, and I've got like some small cousins, like the oldest I think is 5, maybe 6 this year, and so you can imagine 2 years ago, like they were tiny as all hell. And so I took a little picture with one of them on my lap, and everyone kept making the joke that I looked like its dad, and so yeah, Dadbeat was born.
Ah, see, I never
Pretty
knew
sure
that.
I saw the picture somewhere.
I did not know that was how you got the Dadbeat name. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and then from there I just kind of ended up with a bunch of other names as well.
Alright, well, thank you so much for that question there, Master Neutral. we'll be moving on to another question from Smoothie
I got
World.
one.
Oh, go for it, Charles.
I'm gonna say it. I got a question from Dear Reimer, actually.
All right, go for
And
it.
it's asking me, what do I think about the 2B game mode separated from standard, like ranked 2B maps and stuff? However, the rankings are separated from standard. So what this is basically referencing is like the recent talks on getting gimmicky, unplayable, unrankable, well, maybe playable stuff, a scoreboard. And I like the idea, like as kind of like a fantasy idea of the future. But the problem is with more like maps that are suddenly like in huge quantities, scoreboards have to be stored and networked, and that adds quite a bit of space, storage space, because you've got the replays on the top 50 and then you've got the scores and information on all the other ones. So I don't know if the Peppy and like the other developers would be willing to put aside that much hard drive space for, you know, gimmicky unranked stuff. It's really hard to say. I like the idea and I support it. It's just I don't know if it can realistically happen. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Thank you so much for that question, Dimer again. And we actually have a really good one from Smoothie World that can probably bake off into a few other things. But their other question is, what separates a good map from a great map? And furthermore, what separates a great map from a masterpiece?
Oh man, I want to talk so bad.
Go for it, Charles. I'll let you take the floor.
Okay, so what stops a good map to a great map and a great map to a masterpiece? A good map is a map that you can play and you feel good about it by the end of it. A map that you go, yes, this is map in video game that fits the song. I'm really enjoying myself. But what makes it a good map is you forget it tomorrow. You don't remember anything about the map. You just had a good experience and you forgot it completely. These are the things that you would usually want to see and expect. A great map is something that not only does not, you know, like offend you or make you upset in any way, but you remember elements from it because they affected you so strongly. Like if there was like a pattern you really, really liked, something that you'd want to see more of. That's a great map. And a masterpiece is a map that is memorable, you have a lot of fun with, and you don't feel angry at it, but you want to keep playing it over and over and over, and you're showing it to all of your friends, and you try to get people talking about it. It's that sort of thing. Really, a masterpiece is something that you'll look at 3 or 4 years down the line and go, this is still great. This is still a masterpiece. I still want to play this.
I have a rebuttal to that, though. Now,
Go for it.
What if said creator doesn't think it's a masterpiece, but the community does?
Okay, so there's a big artist stigma that's like gone on for just decades, centuries, millennia, and it's where artists will grow to hate their own work.
Okay, well, as long as
it's just a thing.
Yeah,
and what I tell everybody is you have to understand, if people are liking your work, even if they're liking it for the wrong reason, people are still happy. And
yeah.
what can you really ask for?
Because like with the thing that you're saying about separated from great map from masterpiece,
I know exactly what you're referencing.
I don't know if you are, but
well,
if you are,
there's a commonly referenced
yeah.
masterpiece that the creator doesn't like.
No, not
Is that the one we're
one.
talking about in chat right now, or a different one?
What masterpiece? Nope. Oh no, not that one.
That one had to do with the song choice.
Yeah, but no,
Okay.
I feel like in terms of like masterpiece, what you consider down the line is like I mapped that La Di Da song and it stayed relevant for about 3 or 4 years, which would would be considered something that's decent. But when I look back at it now, as far as I've come, I'm just like, I don't think I could go back and look at it the same day and still say it's great. While other people have been like, oh no, that's great. You know?
You have to understand that it's still playable.
Yeah.
And considering how long it's gone, phew.
Yeah. It's just, it's a bit crazy. But, like, with what separates good maps from that, yeah, like, a good map, like Charles said, is something that every map, in my opinion, when it's been put to the forums, should be at least somewhat properly timed. You know, I don't want to sound like I'm fucking the beat map submission system here, but like I expect it to be at least somewhat properly timed. And good maps in mine are you could go into it and play it to an end, and it's passable, enjoyable, and it's not broken. You know, a great map is for me, it's something that gets stuck in my head and won't go away for weeks and weeks and weeks. But a masterpiece is something like, and yeah, I'm gonna say this, and I didn't think I'd ever say it, but I really like RLC's Pretender map. That thing is fucking amazing. I mean, mostly it was me playing the crap out of it to spite Deadbeat because he passed it and I couldn't. You know?
How is that spiting me?
Like, I just wanted to be like, aha, I'm better. You know, so...
That was already obvious. I suck at this game.
But like, as I continued to play that map more and more each time, I wasn't getting mad. Like, I didn't feel like I was getting cheated. I felt like I was learning throughout the map. Like, okay, this section is really crazy, but if I move real slow, it's not as hard as I thought. You know? So, it's those maps that not only are fun to play, but teach you how to improve yourself that I feel are true masterpieces.
Maps that teach you as you go along. What a novel concept. I haven't seen that before.
Shut up. But, yeah, anyways, thank you so much for that question, Smoothie World. Really appreciate that. Now, does anybody else have any other questions on the question board here? Deadbeat
It
Charles,
looks
you got
like...
any?
I do.
There you go.
This is going to be really awkward as all hell.
Oh, it's okay.
Hypothetically speaking, whom would you prefer to marry more, Tasha, Charles, or Zetrot? State reason.
Well, you could just laugh at that and let it go if you don't want to answer
That's
it.
what I've been doing for the past 5 minutes.
Okay, all right.
Have
So,
you thought of an answer?
Charles, don't encourage it.
Oh, aren't you going to answer anyway? Because
Oh, I'll go for it.
well, why not? It's a little bit of fun. If I had to say though, it would be Zetrot.
Oh,
Simply based on the fact that we do spend a lot of time working and all that sort of stuff. So,
my husbando.
meh.
Get your tablets out. It's time to draw.
Oh, please no.
Oh boy.
Oh my god, I'm loving this. Can I read the next question, please?
Do you got one?
Yeah.
This is I have no answer for this, but I feel like I'm obliged to read this out.
Okay.
Is the reason that New Zealand has such low ranking top players due to the top 50 being populated only by sheep?
That's not even nice. Like, I mean, I'm okay with, like, you know, a legitimate question about, like, a climate or whatever, but come on, that's uncool.
Right. Well, I've heard it's actually pretty
What the hell
real
happened
out
there?
there.
Anyway, at the very least, I thought that was quite funny. Well played, sir.
Oh.
Well played.
I think if you focus on a country and try to look at the rankings, you're always going to be disappointed because it's not people, it's persons, it's individuals who are willing to put in the time to get lots and lots of points. And it varies from country to country just randomly, to be honest.
Yeah, just send just send them to one of us and we'll be able to get that answered out to you. All right. We do have another question. This actually comes from Zax. He's wanting to get into mapping and he's not exactly sure where to start. And I've told him a few times, but let's actually have it brought up from Charles and Deadbeat here because Charles is definitely the veteran there. Deadbeat's actually mapped a couple times as well. So they should be able to give you some interesting
Veteran, I
information.
have a fifth of the ranked maps that you do.
Okay, well, I don't know.
Well, let's face it here. Who here has won 2 beatmap competitions?
Yeah,
Well, that's because Zitro was judging the early ones.
yeah.
Come on,
granted,
let's be real here.
Granted, I didn't take part.
I almost won 3, but RLC screwed me. The freaking pink nightmare.
Yeah. Hey, it was pretty good though. It was pretty
Yeah,
good.
mine was good, but it was too hard apparently.
Yeah.
But
As for
anyway.
advice and stuff, I think the best thing you can do is just keep doing random stuff. Like that's essentially all I did. I just kept doing what I thought was right, and then as I progressed, I'd learn more and more tricks. People would like point out what doesn't work, what does work. It's very much a case of trial and error with mapping.
I have
Yeah.
a kind of an alternative, just if when you're starting out. What you're going to want to do is, of course, the most important thing is surprisingly song choice. For the beginner mapper, you don't want to pick something that has dumb timing. You want to pick something consistent like techno, or just pick techno. Make your first map techno, alright? And you're going to want to have the easy timing, and you're going to want to ask somebody for help with the timing. But once you have that down, this is your playground. This is your experimentation field. Now, it's hard to pull ideas out of nothing because, you know, the game has progressed over the course of 7 to 8 years, but you've probably played a map that you liked. And so what it's time now is to look at that map you liked and figure out why you like it. Is there a pattern you like? Why do you like it? Could you make something similar but not identical to this pattern work in your map in a way? And it basically starts from that, cross-referencing others' ideas, trying to see what'll work in the context of your own set. And just experiment, just keep trying it out. You don't have to worry about map plagiarism until you know what you're doing.
Yeah, pretty much what that means is no one's going to yell at you so much if you like upload something and you put it up and you ask in mod help. It's definitely good to be talkative. You have to be talkative. If you're going to want help and you want it to actually go somewhere, like be vocal about it. Like explain that you don't know what's going on. Let people in mod help know. Sometimes it might seem like you can't really get a word in edgewise in mod help, but if you seriously have a problem, there's going to be at least 1 or 2 people there that would be more than happy to explain how to do stuff.
And
You'd hope
there's
so,
something
anyway.
to worry about. Remember, even though you're new, so are other people. So you need to be careful with who you take advice from. If somebody tells you, if somebody while you're asking for help says poi, chances are they're not going to be helpful.
That, or like you could always do other things like checking forum counts, what forum they post the most in. Like, say for example, someone's got a very impressive forum post count, maybe 2,000-3,000. You'd think, oh hey, that person's probably been around the block a couple times. But if that's 2,000 or 3,000 posts in general discussion, then they might literally be trying modding for the first time. So that's stuff you got to kind of watch out for.
View KD history, see if the mods that they posted got applied by the mappers.
Yeah, and
That sort of thing.
KD stands for Kudosu. It's the little things that they can give if you think a mod is decent. Like if you have a mod posted on your map and you feel that you needed to make those changes, you could award that.
One more thing actually, first time mappers, and this I feel needs mentioning. During the modding process, you do not have to make any changes. You are allowed to disagree. They are mostly subjective. You don't have to follow all of the mods religiously.
Yeah.
If you don't agree with some of them, don't do it.
Yeah, your best bet is to go with your gut. Do like what Charles said. Cross-reference what you enjoy and what you can possibly make. And if you feel that it's solid, then you should be okay. But if someone's giving you reasons as to why it's not solid, test those reasons. You could always make a separate difficulty from what you're currently working on and call it like test hard, for example, and apply those changes in an environment, test it, and if those changes are good, then add it to the main difficulty and you're set. But if you don't agree with all of them, usually try to rebuttal why you don't agree. Like say for example, you feel that slider velocity is appropriate in this area and they're giving you reasons as to why it's not. If you can provide reasons as to why you feel that it should stay the same, you should be good. But that's kind of getting a little bit further in down the line when you start talking to like BNs and stuff like that.
Alright.
Yeah, I just mentioned that because there have been people who aren't fully aware of that, so...
Oh no, very, very good thing to mention. And thanks so much for that question, Zax, as we'll be moving
I got
on
one
to
more.
our next one. Okay, Charles has got another one. Go for it, Charles.
I'm gonna jump in here. Derimer is asking your favorite mapper. And I assume this should be a group question too.
Yeah, if it's
like-
not if it's not directly.
Yeah. I want to
set.
say it's tricky, but actually I keep track of this stuff. For reference to anybody who cares, I keep the top 9 mappers that I like the most in my user page at all times, and I update it whenever it changes. But the one at top right now is La Cataline.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, ooh, that's hard for me. I really, like, I've been playing so much stuff. Like, if I was just off what I'm playing, like, actively at the moment, it would probably be, like, RLC and, who's the guy that did the Bloom and Feeling map?
That's Nakagawa Cannon, or
Yes.
DKSS LQJ.
Yes, Nawagaka Cannon, yeah.
Yeah, he's my number 6, actually.
Yeah, so, like, those two are kind of up there for me in terms of, like, what I've been actively playing, but, like, something I could go to and still enjoy to this day, regardless of how simple they may have gotten, is Lardo. I really like Lardo maps, and I probably always will. That's probably a little bit of my, nostalgia factor
Lardo was
kicking
good.
in, but I still feel that even today, it's very, consistent to what it was. And Lacataline's up there, too. Frozen Child.
Speaking of cross-referencing to figure out how to map, Lardo is what I picked. Like, that's my story. Is I looked at Lardo maps and I went, why am I enjoying these?
Vodka.
The vodka was the Lardo
Vodka,
map.
yes.
That was the Lardo map. But yeah, basically that's how I started. So whatever that's.
As for, I don't know about definite favorite, but a long time favorite mapper I had for quite a while was Suryu, or Cyril Scarlet, as I think he's now known.
Wow.
Hey, I like
I
Syria
haven't heard
maps.
that in a
way
long
back
time.
Way back
Like
in the
his
day, I used
maps,
to play those.
like the actual maps, the mapping quality was about standard, I feel, but playing the maps themselves was really fun. I don't know what about it.
Fun.
Yeah.
Not only that, there was a level of consistency. Like, that's the one thing I've loved about OS and a few other music games. And I'm sorry to cut you off on that, but it's the fact that they have the names there. That at a point, a lot of people, they just look at the song and they don't care. But at some point, they get to a point where they're like, I really like the way this was mapped. I wonder if this dude's done anything else. And that's what I like, the ability to actually look that up. It's like, did this guy make anything else? Because, sometimes with some games, they don't do that. It's just all bundled together, and you're lucky if you even get a mention at who actually did the work on it.
I think one of the things I liked most about his maps were the storyboards. I felt they brought like a new level of gameplay to the actual map. Like, they were really good.
Yeah, and that was the time where you couldn't disable storyboards, so everybody saw them.
I really enjoy them.
Yeah, I do too myself, but not very many people.
I can't anymore. I just switched over to my Intel chip because it has less display lag, so it lags if I have the storyboard on.
That's a shame.
But at least means I can play the game now.
Alright though, thank you so much for that question. I have another one here from Smoothie World, but I also have one from Optical, so I'm going to go ahead and give Optical another one as we've answered two of Smoothies, and then we'll go back to Smoothie.
I've got one after this one, so.
Oh, I actually have a few other ones from Stefan _ as well, so I have quite a few ones. So let's go through this one real quick. Alright, so yeah, actually Cory in the House is not best anime, so we'll move on from that.
What are you saying? Of course it is.
No.
Cory. Alright.
Okay. Alright, so Steph asks, is there going to be any O stands on any conventions this year in SEA? Like Comic Fiesta, for example. I remember Peppy was a special guest during the 2013 Comic Fiesta. Alright, well, how that's kind of going to work is that's not really a question we could answer fully for you, because that just depends on what Peppy's schedule's like and what events he plans on going to do. But in terms of like OS booths, usually with overwhelming support, if you want to have a booth for OS at a convention, a local convention you do, and there's not an official one going, if you let people know, they'll usually send you out something, just to kind of help with it. I know that some users in Germany had a special Oath booth for, I think it was Gamescom, It wasn't like an official one, but it was just kind of there. So with stuff like that, it really just depends. I know I've went to like Anime Nebrascon and Anime STL and stuff in the United States, and I've set up OS booths there and had questions and a panel even before. So it just depends on if you have a super active member of the community that's near those locations, because usually you'll see something pop up.
Going off
just
that,
depending.
would you do that? Would you do that panel again?
Oh, I've done it. I've done it at Anime STL quite a bit. I thought about getting a booth again this year to do it, and this year I'd actually be able to bring a whole bunch of stuff instead of just a little bit. Now that I've got this laptop, I could actually fit a house into it. Like I could fit it into a housing and put like nice speakers into it, and actually have a decent host booth where people would be able to try the game out.
Cool.
Yeah. So I mean, it just depends, and like, it really just depends on like when you've got people and if they want to be active in the community in that way. So I hope that answers your question a little bit there, Steph, and thank you so much for that question. We're actually
All
going
right.
to... Go ahead.
So I've got another one from Beatbreaker S. What would you guys do if you were made King of Oz for one day?
If I was what for what?
What would you do if you guys were made King of Oz for one day?
I can't answer that question.
I would get rid of all the anime maps for one day. All the TV sizes. Just wipe them off the face of the earth. Just for a day. See what would happen.
That would actually be kind of funny to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it would definitely be interesting.
Secret wants to watch the world burn.
I don't want to watch the world burn, but like, I just feel like there's an oversaturation of anime TV size.
I would totally disable PP ranking.
Oh, literally, that would make a whole bunch of stuff explode.
That would actually be... I would love to see what would happen if that happened.
Oh, that is totally not clown horns. I'm so sorry, underscore. That's my crappy chair that's going wah wah wah. Yeah, I apologize.
Toot, Right, so I'm not answering that.
Killjoy.
All right,
So I think we have like one from Smoothie again, right?
oh, we do have
Did we
another
ever
one
get to
from.
that?
Yeah, let me go ahead and pull that up real quick. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Smoothie World asks, what is one song you'd love to see mapped, but no one has taken it up yet? Ooh, Smoothie with all the good questions here. Myself, I'd like to see, like, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it, but does anybody here play the Alter Iris PS2 RPG games by any chance?
No.
Okay, well, it had a really nice instrumental soundtrack, and there was quite a few songs, but one of like the item shop themes, I'd love to map it, but it's just so like energy, and it has a lot of 1/8s and stuff, and I don't transition well from going from 1/4, 1/8, and then back down to like, it's just like, it sounds like it would be fun to play, but I can't do it right. Oh, that and Swing What You Got to Save Your Soul, that Charles should be mapping already. Yeah, those are probably
I sent
the
you
two.
an updated version. I think it must have been lost in the pipes.
Updated,
Just
how much?
discreet.
Was it done? Was it done? Is it done?
No.
Okay then, I don't want
It
it.
was like a couple more.
I
Alright.
don't want it till it's done. Come on, make it finished.
Probably not. Anyway, I have a couple that I'd want to see that I wouldn't do myself. Anything from Ratatat, the band, and a specific one would be King of Thebes from Elian. I don't really know, but I know how that would be mapped, but I don't want to bother doing it. But yeah, I think Ratatat, specifically the Classics album, would be really good to see.
I personally would love to see more iNexus stuff mapped. There's like a few uploaded stuff, but like not that much. I'd really like to see more of that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for that question, Smoothie World. We do appreciate it. Let's see here. All
Did we
right.
get to the underscore one?
No, we've got another one here. So they would like to hear opinions on some of the older maps, like Astro Sexy, Strange Program, and just, I guess, just DJ Pop in general.
Some of those are good fun.
Like, I need specifics, like on which maps. Like those three?
Okay. I'm just gonna start off with Strange Program because that was probably one of the most intense maps back when it was actually around. I think one of the really annoying things that was the fact that the storyboard you just couldn't really get rid of.
Strange Program could crash the game.
Wait, was it actually that bad?
No, it was the sliders and ledges diff in multiplayer had the potential to crash people's game.
That is something I did not know. I'm hoping that's fixed by now, though.
It's way fixed. It's been fixed a long time. But yeah, that was way over the top. And I remember getting that approved was real trouble because the spinners were too short. But once it was accessible, immediately like approved. What were the other examples? Astro Sexy?
Yeah.
Astro Sexy,
I mean, I'm
just DJ Pop in general.
I'm not really fond of, spaced jump maps.
MTMCL?
But no,
yeah,
he
I like
he did rectangular jump maps. But what I'm talking about for Astro is one of those you're playing it for the song and you're playing it just to be silly. I wouldn't actually try to full combo it because that'd be just pain. DJ Pop in general, I actually already answered this on my Ask FM recently. But yeah, DJ Pop maps to the song, so if you want to play a song, you go get a DJ Pop map and it's going to be the song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he made some really good maps back in 2010. Like, if you saw a DJ Pop map, you kind of knew what you were gonna be playing. There was like a certain level of quality you could expect from them.
It was incredibly consistent with what it did.
Very much. Yeah, I think he was probably one of the top mappers from 2010, maybe 2011. Was he still around in 2011?
Oh, he was very relevant. It was me, him, and Andrea fighting for the top for a long time before they decided to axe out mapper ranking.
I think I probably would have given an edge to DJ Pop in that one. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Me and DJ Pop worked
DJ
together
Pop
a lot.
was like one of the early resident rhythm game mappers who had previous experience and wasn't just restricted to knowledge from most.
Yep.
Is he still around?
Yeah.
Very seldomly you can catch him on. He's actually made a lot of Mania stuff too.
Because that's where he originally came from. He was an O2J mapper, and then OS happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely remember the fact that he swapped over to Mania a while ago.
I had to check. There was this like Angel Beats 25 diff set that I had to check.
Yeah. So we actually have another question as well. So thank you so much for that question. We're going to be moving on to the next one now. And that next question actually comes from Zax again. They ask, is there any potential chance that we're going to see a novice tournament in the future?
There have been a few, like, more unofficial ones. I think the more official ones will generally be focused towards the higher end players, such as the World Cups.
But it's not that it hasn't been discussed or even thought about, though. It's definitely been brought up and open in the air. It's just, it kind of falls back on another thing of resources, like, because we've made it incredibly clear during group stages and during other interviews and recaps and stuff. This stuff is incredibly time-consuming when setting up a massive tournament like that. It's something we do want to do. It's just something we don't really know where we could fit it in at the moment.
Yeah,
because
but for the most part, you're probably better off just checking the tournament forum and keeping an eye out for any like lower level threads that people make.
Mm-hmm.
That one's tough because we've had, high ranking gameplay, we've had high ranking mapping, we've had low ranking mapping. That was like a really obscure Chinese contest, I believe. It was really cool. But we have never had low ranking playing contest, and I'm not sure if low ranking playing would work because you never know who's actually on the computer. But it's really hard to say. I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
all things considered.
The biggest problem with it would be is like if you've ever seen the World Cup like kind of time frame it's got, and you can check it out on the wiki, the Wikipedia for it. One of the things you'll notice is there's literally like maybe a month and a half of downtime before we're prepping for the next contest. So it's like, where would we put that contest in line with stuff? And that's where it really begins to be a big issue. But it is something we hope, like Charles said earlier, it's one of those things you want to hope for. in an ideal future, it's something we probably see. But right now, your best thing is to just wait and see, and maybe take part in the unofficial beginner tournaments that they have set up.
Okay.
All right, thank you so much for that question. We've got a few other ones. Anybody mind telling me what time we're at?
About
It's
40
an hour?
minutes.
No. 40.
Alright,
Yeah,
cool.
no. We started at like 3:30, so it's like 40. I got a question from Derimer if it's about okay to be next in line.
Well, let me get this Beat Breakers S1 out real quick,
Okay, no.
because this is actually something I can answer on. Do you think strain injury could be a real problem with all the people grinding Osu for PP now?
I could answer that.
I can too. Go ahead, Charles. I'll let you.
If you've got people constantly pushing the label for difficulty and all for the sake of competitive live streaming, yes, you can hurt people, and yes, people can get hurt, because self-control is not supported in a highly competitive environment.
Not at all. And one of the things you have to take into consideration, and I'm not saying that OS is this crazy game that's going to destroy your wrists, but it can definitely harm your wrists. You can sprain your wrist with spinners. It's very possible. It's not impossible. You can get cramped fingers. If you're not double jointed and stuff, you stream real quick, you might get you might get like a hook lock in your finger joint, stuff like that, you know. RSI is something you could get really bad with. It's just all these different things that you can walk into. And another thing to note is, like, if you do sustain an injury outside of OS, it's probably not a good idea to play OS afterwards. And you would think that's like something that's pretty simple and most people would understand that, but you'd be surprised how often I see in chat that people are like, oh man, my arm's broken, but I found a way to like claw my mouse so I could totally still play OS.
Oh god, don't do that.
You shouldn't do that. Like, I tried to do that, and it was a big bad mistake. It took twice as long for my stuff to heal. I was way too spazzy about wanting to be active in the game, and I wasn't even playing as much. I was just wanting to map stuff, and even then, it's like, you shouldn't really mess with the game. If you've got some kind of strain already, just set it down, take a break, go watch streams of people playing it or something. If you're that interested in still seeing stuff going down.
Tell you what, I'd rather be rank 200 and in good physical condition than 20 and have my like hand falling off.
Yeah, yeah. If you tear a lead ligament, ligament. Oh God, wow.
Ligament.
Yeah, if you tear a knee ligament. Oh my God. Yeah, you can totally still play. Wow.
That's funny.
Good job
anyway,
on that one.
I don't even know what was going on there. I apologize.
You failed.
GG.
But yeah, any kind of injury that doesn't have to do with your shoulders or arms, I guess you'd be okay playing OS with. Unless you, like, played the drums and you used pedals or something.
Or you click with your feet.
I don't know what to tell you about that. If that happens and you're playing OS, well, oh, I don't know. You might want to go see some medical attention.
Alright.
Alright. Thank you so much for that question there.
We're going to the dry now, or?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright, this is purposely a general question. Streams or jumps? As broad as that means.
All day I used to say jumps, but now I've gotten to where I actually play streams better. So
I
moving over
enjoy
to the
stream
side.
shenanigans way more.
I would like to see jumps more than streams, but with the way mappings progress, I don't like the current use of jumps anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame
They
you.
feel too forced or too out of place.
Well, streams are forced too in recent times.
Yeah, but you don't see streams every 2 seconds. Like with jumps, they're essentially everywhere now. They're not even jumps. They're just
Well, yeah.
slightly more
What I would
spaced
say is
nodes.
that of the two in their non-offensive states, I would go for stream every day. Because it's more complicated and interesting.
If they were used correctly, I would go jumps.
Yeah. I'd have to say streams. just because that's the way my playing has brought me to. But back when I very first started, I was all about the jumps. Okay, and we actually have another question from Dimer. I just missed it, but I'm not going to actually bring that one up yet. We'll wait, and we'll go answer that one after this Smoothie World question. Alright, so this one's a little bit of a hoof. As far as ranking maps go, is there anything off limits for ranking in the terms of songs ignoring map quality? I know that some songs, such as Skrillex, etc., are restricted to download, but is a song like that rankable?
No.
No. It's like anything that's licensed under that, like
anything that the holders have said, could you not? No, never, none. Stop.
Yeah.
Let alone ranking, you probably shouldn't be uploading it. Just
Yeah, exactly.
safe side.
That'll put you in danger too. It's like, no, just don't.
Yeah, even if the
Check-
map is like, even if the map's 100% perfect, and there's not a thing wrong with it, there's literally nothing we can do, because that's basically like, we give our kind of okay that we'll make sure that if for whatever reason they don't want their stuff there, we'll make sure it's not there. So that would just be like giving them the giantest middle finger if we just passed it through just because the map was decent.
And that is the most dangerous middle finger ever given.
You know.
So yeah, no. The answer is just no.
there's only so far you can push some things.
Actually, you bring up a very interesting point. I'm not exactly sure what's all going underneath that, but with the Danmei map, if it does have issues like that, it's not going to be an issue. It'll just unfortunately be removed. There's literally nothing we can do with that unless they work out some kind of arrangement outside, which has nothing to do with us per se, which is unfortunate. I wish we would be able to answer that question a little bit clearer for you. But you know, like that might have also just been somebody messing around, because they say 10 months ago they saw on the thread people going, no, rip copyright. That might have been somebody just being a jerk.
What I can say is that I don't think any of us are in the designation to actually answer that question.
Yeah, and in all honesty, if there was a problem with it, it would have already been addressed. That's like top priority stuff. So if it's not moving and it's still there, chances are nothing's wrong. In reality, there.
No, okay. You're referencing something that we're not going to say in here, but that's horseshit. Don't take that as truth.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah. Anyways, so let's see here. Dimer asks, "Do you still watch MLP?" And then they ran away after asking this. Which,
I had runs, but I just left them out. They just keep running. It's like, Christ. It's okay. You can ask questions.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, I still watch it. In season 5, I'm up to date on all the episodes. It literally, doesn't matter too much. Like, I've pretty much gotten to the point where I don't care when people ask me if I watch it. Yes, I do. I also follow pretty much everything Tara Strong does, which is like, technically Twilight Sparkle's voice actor, also voice actor for a lot of other stuff. So I enjoy it. I'm probably going to continue enjoying it, and I don't think anybody's going to be able to stop me from enjoying it. But I'm not going to force it on other people, and I don't expect them to be like, oh, that's great, but yeah, that's basically just what's...
Oh, did I... something happened to Zetrot.
I don't know.
Anyway, while Zetrot has technical, difficulties... okay, I was wondering that I was disconnecting, right? No. While Zetrot has technical difficulties, I don't watch the show, but I don't hate people who do. Because it's a TV show, come on. But yeah, Zetrot's all about that.
Yeah, I haven't really shown much interest in that either. It's not my sort of thing.
Right, so we had Zetrot drop, but that's why we are both recording as well, so don't worry, the day is saved. We're just going to have to take this on our own for a little bit, so go ahead and PM us the questions this time, and we'll see if we can answer them. If you sent one to Zetrot that didn't get read, you're probably going to have to send it again.
Well, I have one,
please
but
don't ask questions that you've already asked.
Do I ever get sick of hearing Charles Zetrot talk? Of course I don't. That'd be silly.
Getting sick is somebody talking, I mean, sometimes I'll be sitting there wanting to talk, and then the person goes and writes their essay in the middle of the voice chat. But I wouldn't say that getting annoyed is something that you should do if you're in a public chat session, you know?
I will admit though, there have been some times where I've been watching people talking. I'm just like, oh god, please just stop. No, stop. But like, generally at that point, it's just completely random idiots in the chat blurting utter nonsense. So,
Right, we gotta hold it together, guys. Don't forget to, you know, send us the questions that you had for Zeetrop that he wasn't able to answer.
I hope he comes back.
I hope he comes back. Hopefully we'll see him again. Otherwise, this is just gonna be a giant cut.
Yeah, this should be quite fun. I'm really hoping he actually does come back in time.
Probably not, unless you ask questions. Then we won't cut this part. So ask
No,
questions,
we're
we
keeping
don't
this.
have to.
We are totally keeping
Yeah,
this.
we're keeping this. We're keeping this. We're making it real. We're making it happen. I got a question. Oh, I got a question from Hunt. Is this going to be a long, awkward silence? And the answer is no, because people are asking questions. So ask questions. Hey, my boy.
What fruits do you guys hate the most? Oh hey, look, Deetrop's back.
I apologize, my internet exploded. So sorry about
Don't worry.
that.
We got it. We got the recording. It's all good.
Alright,
Don't
cool,
forget to
cool.
start your recording.
Well, there's
This is gonna be
literally no point. There's literally
No.
no point now. It completely deleted the rest of the recording. I went and checked on it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's really stupid.
really unfortunate.
Yeah, I do apologize, everybody.
All right. So let's
But yeah,
continue.
what fruits do you guys hate the most?
I hate the durian fruit.
Probably fig.
Fruit.
Really don't like figs.
I hate pear.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if coconuts count as a fruit though, because I hate them more.
Oh, this is an interesting question actually. This is from underscore. On an Ostwalk post, it said that Sapphire Ghost or Ruchi would get interviewed. Maybe. How though? Ruchi doesn't speak English, and I'm not sure if Sapphire Ghost wants to come back to Oz. I have no idea what that noise was. With the whole Ruchi thing, we might be able to do this one. We are looking at getting live translations as a thing. We already have, I think, 2 Ostwalk lined up where we'll be having Koreans being translated for us. So I mean, if we can get someone to translate for Japanese, we could probably get Ruchi.
We could get Nyquil to do Chinese to English, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like, we've got people who can. I'd hope we have people who can help us with translations. We have a lot of people in the staff from all over the world, so. As for Sapphire Ghost, I'm not really sure about that one. Zeetrop, do you have anything about the Sapphire Ghost one?
Well, I got really close to convincing him to come on and talk with us, and then his main reason for not wanting to talk was he just didn't feel the reason to show people his face and stuff, and he didn't want to talk about his playing style, which seemed a little bit fishy to me, but at the same time I could respect somebody's privacy.
Isn't he a touchscreen player?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
uses a tablet PC.
I was
Yeah,
watching. I think it was the last top 20 players. I think it was 20 players of 2014. They were actually using the player skins, and when you look at his one, there was no cursor.
Yeah, there's no cursor because he doesn't need it.
It was quite interesting watching just without the cursor. It was really funny.
Yeah.
Start popping up. Yeah. Since we're like getting closer to the finish, I do have a question from Tenshuga X, and this is definitely one of more relaxed questions because we're probably hitting like 55 minutes now.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite meme?
Okay, I actually got this asked on one of the World Cup streams, and I didn't actually really know. I think if I had to pick one though, it would probably be that overmanly man one, or whatever the hell it's called. It's essentially a girl with no shirt on, just like putting up fisticuffs, and they just write really stupid stuff on it, like stab wound. You mean extra pockets?
Oh, that one. The grayscale.
Yeah, I really do like that one.
I don't know, it's so hard to pick.
Mine. I can't really think of another description for it other than a meme, but it's a meme that is created in English construct.
Yeah.
The phrase "in before."
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, that one.
If you try to find an English equivalent for it, you're not going to succeed. But
And before
the use
someone
of
does.
"in before," exactly. You can't do that in English in any other way. It's like, I have a prediction that it would be really funny if blank happened, but you just say "in before blank," and it's perfect. And it's got to be a meme because it sure as heck ain't English. And it's just this one that is made talking really, really easy on the internet. And it's
Oh.
funny when it works.
I don't know, man. I don't like a lot of memes, and the one I really don't like is the one that's been going around my community, my in real life community. And it's that stupid D's nuts got him crap.
These nuts. That's not
yeah.
very funny, no.
No, it's not. It's really not. And people be like, "Hey, man, what do you want?" And I'm like, "Can I get a soda?" "You can get D's nuts. Ha, got him." And I hate
Isn't
it.
that just some like crappy Vine joke?
Probably.
Yeah, it was a crappy Vine joke, and then it took
Vine
over my
jokes
entire
are, the
like.
thing is that Vine jokes are just not that funny.
No, they're not. But it's literally spread like a meme, at least in
Sure.
my area. Like, I mean, even people that don't even mess with the computer that much are like, "These nuts, ha ha ha, got him." And I'm like,
They
what
had all watched Kung Pao and forgot how it went.
pretty much. It's ridiculous.
I think if I had to pick another favorite meme, probably the Insanity Wolf one. You can get some pretty good Insanity Wolf ones.
That is a goddamn advice animal. that all stems from one thing.
Oh yeah, it's an advice animal, but most of them are kind of just like meh. I do like those ones though. They're really they make you kind of take a
Yeah.
step back and think, "Whoa, what?"
All right, though. Do we have
Like,
any
yeah,
more
reaction to
questions?
I have one,
I think-
technically.
Okay, we'll do one more and then we'll end on a closing note.
Alright, I don't know if you want to close on this one, but what is your favorite animal?
Monkey.
This one's
I
hard.
like my cat. Thank you. Z-Cat, all day.
I mean, cats are pretty cool. Because cats aren't stupid. Like, they're as smart as you want them to be, if you really, like,
Mhm.
actually train them. So, it's hard to beat that. Like, I mean, unless you have, like, a border collie or something.
Yeah.
But no, I prefer a cat. I got no obscure reference for that, or, you know.
Like, Z-Cat, like, Zax pretty much hates my cat because it scares the crap. It attacks him. It attacks him. It literally does. He was sitting there minding his own business one day, sitting in the lounge chair we got in the living room. It's a big old recliner, and he's just sitting there minding his own business, and she just came up behind him and just whopped him in the face for no real good reason.
Wow.
Like, she doesn't like anybody but me. My cat has a weird mindset.
Even though your cat knows that they're just guests.
Yeah.
Weird.
But, yes. With that, we do appreciate all the questions that have been asked today. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Not only that, we'd also like to... Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna quickly end on the few things that we're gonna be planning for the actual OS talk, because I think we could probably talk a bit about that.
Oh, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So there's two big changes that three actually that we're looking to get. The first one is about something we talked about a bit earlier on with the translations. We are hoping to make this a thing so we can accommodate more for people who can't actually speak English that well. We have looked into this and we are planning stuff. Hopefully we'll see something next month if we're lucky. No guarantees.
Well, there's going to be a translated episode for sure next month.
So it is for sure next month?
Yeah, it is for sure.
Alright,
July.
cool. So yeah, we'll see something in July for sure.
Unfortunately, it's not going to be the Ryuichi interview. I'm going to burst your bubble right there.
Should we
It
just
is not-
say what it is, or should we hold the suspense?
Yeah, go for it. You can go for it.
Okay, so the first one that we will actually be doing a live translation for is actually Spectator.
Boom.
So this should be really good.
Oh, I want to be there.
Well,
Yeah.
please do come. This should be good. The other thing is, we are looking at pushing live streaming forward for these.
Mhm.
We did brush over this on my interview we have a base format that we can use. I think we might try and expand on it a little bit. We did recently hold a poll in the thread, and it looks like most people were saying just stream to Twitch, so that's probably what we'll end up doing.
Yeah, it's probably what's going to end up happening.
Yeah, so hopefully we can have something by the end of the month at the latest. If not the next week or so, if we can get this working.
Well, I remember him saying it'd have to be sometime in the beginning of July, so that's probably when we're going to have the first one. In terms of streaming, I just need to figure out how to set up a video format that would loop out the video files I have and set the layers, and once we could do that, we're good to go.
Yeah, the other thing is I think something Z-Truck can explain more, and that was the mailbox system you were looking at adding in.
Yes. So basically, with these things being streamed, what I'm going to end up doing is setting it up to where you guys can send us topics, questions, and just ideas for entire episodes if you want to, and we could use that to kind of better cater to what you guys want to see. I know a lot of people don't mind listening to us just go on about whatever topic we've decided, but at the same time, I want it to feel like there's more community involvement than there currently is. I know a lot of these wouldn't even happen if it wasn't for you guys in the community, so thank you there, first off. But I do think that we'd be able to take it to better places and cover more topics if we weren't hand-picking everything ourselves, because, you know, a different viewpoint is always a good way to kind of put a little bit of spice into something.
Yes, I think one of the other things we were looking at doing with that mailbox thing is we were looking at having it so that you can also send in questions for interviews. So by the time we actually get to the Q&A, we have all the questions ready, and we can just go through them at a much faster rate. So we don't have to waste time giving people talk power, testing microphones, and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We can still take questions from the either the TeamSpeak chat or the Twitch chat when we do the live streams, because we will probably keep an eye out for those if we see some really good questions. But for the most part, we're gonna try and make it more organized, so we can just go straight through it, no delays, no nothing, just all ready and ready to go. Should be good.
Alright.
Okay, so that's going to wrap up this 1 year anniversary. Happy birthday to the OS Talk, and like everybody else, we really appreciate you coming out. Thank you so much for sticking with us for this entire year, and we hope to bring you a whole nother year of content coming just as soon as we can. And remember, guys, Rhythm's only a click away, and we ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, you're stuck with us.
Bye-bye.